to the Genesis series and Dethroning Darwin with 4 words. Darwinian evolution is based on 3 assertions. Small changes in living things make them more suited to their environments. I agree. Because of these advantages, such animals are more likely to reproduce. This is called natural selection, and yes, this would have some impact. These small changes over vast amounts of time produce the millions of species we see today. I do not believe this, but if you believe Darwin is right, you can prove I'm wrong very easily. 4 words. Show us the steps. Now I could be difficult or thorough here and ask you to provide the steps between all approximately 8 million living species, but I'm not going to do that. As a matter of fact, I only want 2 books of steps. Book 1 is titled From Dinosaur to Bird. Please provide a drawing of a cold-blooded dinosaur with scales. Then, for every step between a dinosaur and a modern bird, please provide this information. A drawing of evolution's next step, the approximate time of this change, a description of this change. Please tell us if this change is adaptive. Some of these changes may be necessary, in which case they may not be adaptive. I would like that noted. Please also tell us whether or not there is fossil evidence for this change. On the last page, please indicate for us the total number of steps, the percentage of adaptive steps. This will help us evaluate the force of natural selection, and also the percentage of steps with fossil evidence. This will help us discern how much actual evidence there is for evolution. And finally, a picture of a flying modern bird. As you produce these steps for us, please indicate in small steps exactly how scales become feathers for powered flight. Please indicate how a cold-blooded dinosaur becomes a warm-blooded animal. Please note respiratory differences between dinosaurs and birds and show those changing in small steps. Please check into bones, size, make sure those are done in small changes. Also things such as the eyes and the brain. Show us the steps. In addition to on the origin of the species, Darwin later in his life hypothesized about a purely naturalistic means for first life to be created. Because of that, we need Book 2 to fully dethrone Darwin. The title of Book 2 is From Stuff to Life. Please provide a list of any combination of stuff that was never alive. And for every step to first life, please provide the following data: a drawing of the next step, the approximate time, a description of the change, and an explanation of why this change occurred. It is important to point out here that natural selection is not in play. Things have to be alive for natural selection. Rocks do not get selected by nature to reproduce. So please, in your explanation, explain why these changes occurred. Also, fossil evidence, yes or no. I realize that it's probably going to be no for every one of these changes, but I think it's important that this be noted. On the last page, please provide a summary explanation of why these changes occurred, and also the percentage of these steps with fossil evidence, and of course, a drawing of a living cell. Show us the steps. Now, I am not the first to ask for steps. People asked Darwin for steps. He did not provide them. 150 years after origin of the species, Many people have asked evolutionists for steps. They have not provided them. This is unacceptable. Imagine you were a juror on a murder trial. The key witness looked at the accused and said, "I know he's the murderer because there are 5 logical steps from when I last saw him and the murder." The defense attorney asks, "Well, tell us the steps. Show us the steps." And the witness said, I can't. I don't know. They just are. This is just the way things are." Would you convict that man based on that? This is unacceptable. Show us your steps. As we finish today, please let me summarize what you are being asked to believe. You are being asked to believe that dead stuff became in a living cell. We don't know what stuff. We don't know the steps. You just have to believe it. Okay. Was there food for this cell? Could the cell get to it? How did the cell get the food outside, inside, digest it? How did the cell avoid its waste? How did this cell reproduce? You must believe that all of that potential just happened. And you need more faith. You need to believe that that little cell had the genetic potential for the 8 million species alive today. But the evolutionists believe in a very old Earth. Lots of extinct species. So I had to have those too. And even though they can't give us steps, they believe in them. Demand we believe in them. So all those steps too. So that little cell had the genetic potential for billions of life forms. I don't believe a word of it. And I can't express my deepest thoughts about evolution and keep this at a civil level. But I think you know. But evolutionists, if you want to shut me up, show us the steps. Show us the 2 books. Then I'll be happy to say, you have a plausible theory. Good job. But if you can't show us the steps 150 years after Darwin, that's unacceptable. Evolution is not a fact. It's not even a theory. Theories have more heft than that. All you have is a wish. A wish that this way is the way it is. So Darwin has been dethroned. So let's put the Word of God back on the throne. We start Genesis next week, chapter 1. My name is Martin. God bless. Thanks for joining me.